What really happened to K-Flock? A kid from the Bronx who turned drill music into a national movement, now sitting in a cold prison cell, his future hanging by a thread. Once standing beside Cardi B on the Billboard charts, now he's staring down the possibility of life behind bars. But what's shocking everyone isn't just the case, it's the change. The transformation he's gone through inside, mentally, physically, and emotionally, has fans saying this isn't the same kid who walked in 4 years ago. 700 people tuned in just to watch him talk from jail. 700. That's not a fall off. That's proof that the streets still remember his name, even when the system tries to erase it. Today, we dive deep into the unbelievable journey of Kevin Perez, better known as K-Flock, from drill superstar to federal defendant, and uncover how one of the Bronx's brightest lights got caught in the darkest storm of his life. Before we get into it, let's keep it real. Social media has been flooded. Jail call clips, fan theories, debates about guilt and innocence. But forget the rumors. Today, we're breaking down the real story. How a young Bronx artist went from a hungry teenager to a Billboard sensation and then straight into a federal courtroom in less than 2 years. December 16th, 2025. That date could decide everything. K-Flock, now 22, will stand before a judge who could either give him another shot at life or lock that cell for good. But to understand how he got here, we have to rewind back to when Kevin Perez was just another kid trying to make out of the Bronx. The rise. K-Flock grew up in the middle of chaos. The Bronx, where drill music wasn't just sound, it was survival. Chicago had Chief Keef. The UK had its own wave, but the Bronx? It was raw, loud, unfiltered. And nobody embodied that energy better than K-Flock. His breakout record Shaker with Cardi B wasn't just another drill hit. It was a moment. When that track hit the Billboard Hot 100, it was validation for an entire scene. Here was a teenager from the projects getting a co-sign from one of the biggest artists in the world. And she came from the same struggle he did. Streams were in the millions. Labels were fighting to sign him. The streets were playing his name on repeat. But behind all that success was a dangerous truth. K-Flock wasn't just rapping about the streets. He was living them that I am the Bronx. Drill isn't cosplay. It's real beef, real blocks, real enemies. K-Flock was tied to the Sev Side/DOA crew, not just musically, but personally. And that's where everything started to blur, art and reality colliding. December 2021, the turning point. A cold night in Harlem changed everything. K-Flock, just 18 years old, found himself at the center of a deadly shooting. The victim, Oscar Hernandez, an arrest followed. The charge? First-degree murder. Overnight, a charting artist became a headline for all the wrong reasons. The internet exploded. Some said he was innocent. Others said he threw away his career. The truth? Complicated. The prosecution wanted to make an example of him, to paint him as the face of drill culture's violence. They wanted a life sentence, but the trial shocked everyone. K-Flock beat the first-degree murder charge. Acquitted, still, freedom didn't follow. He was convicted of attempted murder, a heavy hit, but it didn't end there. The feds were watching, and they were building something bigger, a RICO case that targeted not just K-Flock, but his entire circle. The federal case. When the feds pull the RICO card, it's over. They don't care about one incident. They paint the whole crew as a criminal enterprise. They had years of evidence, wiretaps, phone records, surveillance, social media. They wanted to take down Sev Side/DOA entirely. Suddenly, record labels that were once throwing money at K-Flock started backing off. The message was clear. The feds weren't just targeting the shooters. They were coming for the culture. And now, K-Flock faces 10 years to life. He's already spent almost 4 years locked up, waiting for that December 2025 court date. Life behind bars, the transformation. But here's where things get wild. K-Flock hasn't disappeared. If anything, his influence has grown. Videos of his jail calls have gone viral. One in particular showed him looking unrecognizable. Gone was a skinny teen from 2021 to now. He's bulked up, dreadlocks down to his shoulders, eyes sharper than ever. Prison had reshaped him, physically and mentally. When that live call went up, over 700 viewers tuned in just to see him. Think about that 0.4 years without a single new track, and he still commands that kind of attention. That's power most rappers can't buy. People close to him say he's been staying focused, working out, keeping his head right, trying to figure out what's next. Whether he walks free or spends life behind bars, he's been transforming, growing up inside a system built to break him. The debate, online, opinions are split. Some say he's done enough time. Nearly 4 years served should count toward whatever comes next. If he gets the minimum sentence, that could mean just 6 more years. Others? They say justice means paying the full price. They point to Oscar Hernandez's family, to the lives lost in the name of drill culture. And then there's a bigger question. What does this mean for drill music itself? Some artists see Kay Flock's story as a warning that fame can't protect you from the streets. Others see him as a symbol, proof that even locked away, his voice, his energy, his legacy still echo through the culture. Ending, emotional wrap-up. So what happens next? On December 16, 2025, a judge will decide if Kevin Perez ever walks free again. But no matter what the verdict is, the impact's already written. Kay Flock's story is bigger than one case. It's a reflection of how the streets, the music, and the system collide. From the Bronx blocks to the Billboard charts, and now to a prison cell, one thing's clear. Kay Flock's name isn't fading anytime soon. They're seeing it now. The price you pay when you don't draw a line between the studio and the streets. When you've got one foot in the booth and the other knee-deep in the beef. Some artists defend drill, saying it's pure expression, their version of poetry. They argue that rappers shouldn't be punished for what they create or for who they grew up around. To them, Kay Flock isn't just a defendant. He's a symbol, a reminder that the system doesn't understand the culture and that the feds are using him to send a message. Silence the drill movement before it grows any stronger. But truth be told, the answer sits somewhere in the middle. Yeah, Kay Flock was making music, but he was also living a lifestyle that the feds called criminal. Still, it's impossible to ignore that his fame put a bigger target on his back. If he wasn't Kay Flock, the Billboard rapper, but just another kid from the Bronx, would they have gone after him this hard? That's the question everybody keeps asking. The countdown to sentencing. As December 16th, 2025 creeps closer, the tension's building. Fans, artists, and even industry execs are all watching, waiting to see what kind of future, if any, Kay Flock still has. Will the judge look at his age, the 4 years he's already served, and decide that he deserves a second chance, or will they slam the hammer down, making an example out of him, proving once and for all that the music industry and the streets can't coexist? The prosecution's got their story ready. They'll talk about his lyrics, his affiliations, his influence on young fans. They'll call him a dangerous figure who uses music to glorify gang life. The defense will counter that with a different story, one about growth and redemption. They'll point out that he was acquitted of murder, that he's still young, and that behind bars he stayed disciplined, focused, and human. They'll say 10 years, maybe even less, is enough, that every kid deserves a second chance to rewrite their story to I in the end. It all comes down to one person, one judge, deciding whether Kevin Perez gets a chance to rebuild his life, or if Kay Flock's name becomes another tragic ending written by the streets. The legacy question. Here's what most people aren't asking, but should be, what will Kay Flock's legacy really be? If he walks free in 10 years, will anyone still be waiting? Will the music world open its doors again, or has the moment already passed him by? After everything he's seen, the rise, the fame, the downfall, will he even want to rap again? Or will his story become a cautionary tale? Another name in a long list of young artists who couldn't break free from the streets that raised them. Maybe that's what hurts the most. Kay Flock had the voice, the movement, the potential to shift the culture. But instead, he became a reflection of a system where talent and tragedy often walk hand in hand. Whether his story ends in redemption or regret, one thing for sure, the world will remember his name. The transformation Kay Flock has gone to behind bars, both physically and mentally, shows one thing clearly. He's preparing for whatever comes next. Whether that means returning to music one day or starting over with a completely different life, only time will tell. But one thing's undeniable. Kay Flock's story has grown bigger than just one artist. It's become a reflection of something deeper. The constant struggle between street culture and success, between authenticity and survival, between loyalty to your roots and the painful truth that sometimes you have to leave them behind to truly move forward. As we count down to December 16th, 2025, the real question isn't just what happens to Kay Flock. It's what his story reveals about us, about the culture, about the system, about how society treats young men of color who are caught between two worlds, one of opportunity and one of survival. Because no matter what happens on sentencing day, K-Flock has already paid a price you can't measure in money. 4 years of his youth. Gone, a rising career, frozen in time, and a life that will never be the same, no matter what the judge decides. This isn't just about one shooting. It's not just about one gang. And it's not just about one rapper. It's about power, loyalty, consequences, and a justice system that still doesn't know what to do with young, talented men who come from the hardest environments in America as on now. It's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about K-Flock's situation? Should he be given a second chance? Or face the full sentence? And how should the music industry deal with drill artists who still have ties to the streets? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And check out the videos on screen for more stories where the streets and the music industry collide. Because one thing's for sure, December 16th is coming. And whatever happens in that court will echo through the entire drill scene forever.